What's up, Juve? Alberto here. This is the AJC channel dedicated to Juve. It is the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to our friends south of the border. I've got all the news around Juve. We're going to kick things off with Koopmeiners, all right? So, Nico Skira says, keep your eyes peeled for a formal offer that is set to hit Atalanta from Juventus on Koopmeiners, all right? Now, what's being reiterated in the news is that there are no counterparts that are going to be accepted by Atalanta. This is strictly financial compensation that they are looking for, all right? But that doesn't mean that Juve might not include a player in their offer. We have to wait and see what develops, but the offer is going soon. Everybody is reiterating the contract agreement that Juve and Koopmeiners already have and have had for quite some time. That is a deal of 5 years for $4.5 million per season, all right? So now we just wait on this offer. As far as another ticking time bomb around the mercato and Juve, that is the status of Federico Chiesa. And Nico Skira reports that Juve had him on the market, was hoping that the Euros would boost his value. It has done the opposite, if anything. Now Juve is looking around 25 to 30 million euros compensation for the sale of Federico Chiesa. The talks confirmed multiple talks and discussions with Roma. The track with Napoli has cooled down. There have been inquiries from Bayern and Manchester United, but nothing solid there, okay? It looks like Roma is hot. De Rossi is hot for Chiesa. Will an offer come in? We wait and see, but Juve has been clear with what they're looking for at 25 to 30 million euros for the player. Now, when we try to make sense of this whole thing, because for me, I've always said it makes sense for both parties involved just to meet on that 1-year bridge renewal. However, what if that isn't even available anymore? And I've always said that maybe Giuntoli takes that away, or maybe it was never even made available to Chiesa in the first place. But when we look at this situation from the outside looking in, do we have the means to give Chiesa a little bit more in terms of salary? Of course we do. Of course we do. We just said goodbye to like almost 12 million per season with Alexandro saying goodbye. Do we have the means to give him an extra year if he wanted an extra year on his contract? Sure, of course we do. But for me, there's got to be something behind the scenes that has led to Juve seemingly ready to say goodbye and just wanting to say goodbye to Federico Chiesa. Because for me, everything from the outside looking in tells me it's something from behind the scenes. All right. So my thoughts and my feelings, and always coming back to them meeting on a 1-year bridge renewal, it is fading and fading quickly. It looks like we're set to say goodbye to Federico Chiesa. All right. Now, in terms of a potential counterpart in a move, that was Huijsen in that Koopmeiners move. But now all of a sudden, Aston Villa has thrown their name into the mix for the player, and they are interested in Dean Huijsen. Obviously, we have good relationships. We just wrapped up a deal with Aston Villa for Douglas Luiz that saw Iling Jr. and Barnechea head over there. Will something happen there? We wait and see. Obviously, we have missed out on Calafiori. It seems he is set to join Arsenal. Now, in missing on Calafiori, Huijsen's importance kind of ramps up. So this is an interesting one to follow, but he still holds a good value. And we are going to have to move somebody to finalize things with Koopmeiners. That's another part of that Koopmeiners deal that is a little bit interesting. Are we going in straight financially? We can't really do that at the moment without some sales. I mean, we can, but then it really puts the pressure on the sales trying to do that afterwards instead of having your bases covered beforehand. But Dean Huijsen being looked at by several clubs still could be on the outs. And then also on top of that, you get Rugani rumors. That Rugani is set to see some offers come in, some from Saudi Arabia, and Juve will consider them. Now it's really starting to not make sense. You're going to have some backup when it comes to center back, all right? But I still hold this faith in Thiago Giallo as this wild card, and he is practically going to be like a signing because we didn't even utilize him whatsoever towards the end of last season, and he was available. For whatever reason, only Max Allegri and Juventus and Thiago Giallo know why he wasn't used. but he could be a wild card for us going through this mercato. In terms of more defensive news, well, today Tuttosport hits us with the rumor that Giuntoli offered Torino 42 million and 5 million euros in bonuses for Buongiorno, but the player rejected as he didn't want to betray the Torino fans, and he's only dealing with Napoli. Now, let's get this. Let's hold up for a second here, Tuttosport. Okay, so you're trying to tell me one of the top 3 targets we were listed as from the start of the mercato, Calafiori, we let him slide because we didn't want to go to 50 million euros, but we offered up someone that wasn't on our main target list in Buongiorno the exact same money. We just saw a player that we had a personal agreement with for a month, 2 months already. We let him slide for the same money and then offered it up to Buongiorno. Yeah. Where the hell do you guys come up with this shit? Tuttosport, be better, all right? Be better. Not buying that one for 1 second, all right? Now we get to Wojciech Szczesny. Szczesny, the deal with Al Nassr is frozen, and from what I gather, it looks like Al Nassr has turned to Ederson at goalkeeper, but Juve continued to look for solutions. For me, he is on the outs, and that is what's being reported. He is on the outs with Juve. Juve looking to move him. There is interest from Monza. However, we get into this severance package thing, similar to what we were getting with Weston McKennie. Monza's obviously not going to pick up the salary he's on currently. Juve would have to give him a severance package for him to accept. But there are discussions between Monza and Szczesny, his agent. Now, severance package, this is everybody playing the game. Giuntoli has guys he wants out of Juve. Kenny's on that list. Szczesny's on that list because of his salary and everything. And the players, they're making their stance and they're backing themselves up, trying to get what's owed to them on their final contract year before saying goodbye to Juve, unless, of course, somebody is willing to take them on that money. But they still are going to play that game probably for severance package and compensation because it was a contract agreed upon and technically they are entitled to it. So this is going to get very messy and very tricky for Giuntoli. We will have to see how he can operate around that, all right? Now we get to Sancho. The latest news on Sancho is that Juve is trying to get a loan deal done, but Man U pushing for obligation and Juve not biting just yet. We'll have to see if anything happens there. And then, of course, we have the schedule is out for the 24-25 season. Our season begins August 18th against Como at home. All right, so you can see the full schedule on all our socials. Of course, Juventus official social pages and whatnot. But it's actually quite balanced, all right? So that wraps up your news break. You guys know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, join our AJC Army, but my favorite part, hit me with your thoughts, comments, opinions on all the news you just heard in the comment section, and let's mix it up. I'm back tomorrow, as always, with another edition. Till then, fino alla fine, forza Juventus, ciao tutti.